Let's say hello to our first guest of the day. This man made his return to the UFC, his first fight in 559 days, was victorious on Friday in his home state of Massachusetts. He's one of the legends of the sport. 13 UFC finishes, that's the most in lightweight history. 15 wins is the fourth most in UFC lightweight history. 15 bonuses is tied for second most bonuses in UFC history with Nate Diaz. And it was his second win at the TD Garden. There he is, the one and only Joe Lauzon, kind enough to join us. Joe, how are you?
I'm good. How's it going?
It's going really well. Congratulations on the win. What is it about you fighting at TD? Like, it seems like I'm reminded of like the Super Mario Brothers video game. I know you're a gamer. My knowledge of video games doesn't extend much past that, but it's like you got the mushroom and you power up and you're just like in total beast mode. What's going on? Like, what are you feeling when you're fighting out there?
Just feeding off the crowd. Everything was smooth. The bigger thing was, camp went smooth. We had a really long camp, but everything was great. It was awesome to fight in Boston, fight at home.
When you say you had a really long camp, like I mentioned the 559 days, I'm assuming the camp wasn't that long, right? Like, how long was this camp?
It was close. I don't know. So my last fight was April last year. I'd say like November we started like really picking it up, and like at least since January 1st, like we've been crushing it all year.
Why were you out for so long?
So I've been doing this for so long, so it takes time to make changes. Like, it's not as simple as like, oh, I've done this 3 times, so I can reprogram it pretty easily. Like, it takes a long time. So we added additional striking coach, started doing a new strength conditioning program, going to Skill of Strength with Mike Perry, doing a whole bunch of stuff there. It takes time. It doesn't happen fast. Like, you can't. I've been doing it so long. It takes a long time to break old habits. So I needed the time.
And to be clear, this isn't Platinum Mike Perry, right? That you're talking
Different
about?
Mike Perry. It's confusing.
Yes.
I get it.
Yes.
But yeah, no, this is not Platinum Mike Perry. This is Coach Mike Perry.
Okay, so obviously you felt like you need to make changes after losing 3 straight. Was there ever a point where you thought you were done?
Going into the last one that I lost, we felt like we'd done everything right. We'd made some good changes at that point. And I was so confident I was going to win. We'd said it, over and over, like, hey, if we don't win this one, we're probably done. This is the end of the line. And then I lost that one. I'm like, ugh, I don't really think I'm done. I think we need to, be a little bit more. We need some more exaggerated changes. So that's what we did. It took time. We took some time off. Gave me a good time to kind of clear my head, heal up a bunch of, stupid, nagging, annoying injuries that I had, and we got after it.
You're a very loyal guy. You strike me as a very loyal guy. You have a lot of the same people that have been around you for a long time. Is it hard to bring in new people because you've been with those same figures for so long? Do you feel like, is it an awkward conversation when you're trying to introduce new characters to the team?
No, I mean, because it wasn't like anyone got pushed out.
Okay.
It was just adding people in. So for the longest time I've had Steve Mays as my striking coach, which he's a boxing coach. He's my boxing coach. That's why you don't see much kicking out of knees or elbows, things like that. So I still work with Steve Mays on the boxing and all the hand stuff, but we got an additional coach working on some more, kick defense and elbows and knees and all that kind of stuff. And just an extra person. Like, Steve Mays can tell me so many, every way he can think of to keep my hands up. But if I'm not keeping my hands up, we need someone else to kind of slap me around and get me to get my hands up. So it just an additional. It wasn't like it was a replacement.
Was part of the delay because this card was in Boston? In other words, like, if this card would have been in August, you would have returned in August?
That was part of it. So like November, I knew I wanted to fight. I talked to Dana and Sean Shelby in like end of December, mid-December, and I told them I wanted to fight, and they were both kind of dragging their feet. And then I was thinking like March or April, and that didn't happen. And then it was like, oh, maybe June, July, and that didn't happen. And then they announced the Boston card, so then it made sense to wait for October, but it delayed it a little bit, but it was going to happen regardless.
Did you get the sense that they were trying to build Jonathan Pearce off of you? I noticed you said in the pre-fight, like, I'm not going to let this guy, get a W off of me, especially in my hometown, essentially. Like, did you feel like you've reached the point where maybe you're going to be used as a stepping stone and you're not really quite comfortable with that role just yet?
That's how every fight is ever going to be. Like, when I beat Pulver the first time, like, they weren't expecting me to beat Pulver, but I beat him, so I used him as a stepping stone that time. Like, every single fight you're ever going to see, that's what this sport is. Everyone's always a stepping stone. Like, everyone's always trying to build. Any highlight you ever see is someone else getting kicked in the face or submitted or dumped on the head or something like that. Like, that's just the sport we have. Every fight is like that.
So it was amazing to see you fight in Boston again, because you're the only one who was on that card that was also on the first ever Boston card, which feels like a century ago. In fact,
forever ago. Yep.
Yeah, 9 years ago, UFC 118. And the performance was like almost a mirror image you against Gabe Rudiger. Like that performance on Friday, it felt like the same thing where you were just like throwing him around and just super strength, all that stuff. Were you getting flashbacks of that time 9 years ago as well when you were in there?
No, a little different. So it was dominant both ways. But with Gabe, it was like I was throwing him around on the ground and all of the, this was, I felt like was started with the stand-up stuff. I felt like my hands were a lot better. I landed some good punches. I felt like I kept good composure the entire time. Like I felt really good. Like I felt like I was in control every second of the entire fight.
So that photo right over there, like when you have his arm trapped like that, was it possible? Yep. Like, were you feeling that he might just tap from that?
He could have tapped for that, but that wasn't what I was looking for. Everyone in the UFC is tough. Like I didn't expect him to tap to that. He could have. I'm sure his shoulder's really sore, but it was more so about the control. If he can't get his elbow out, he can't get to his knees. He can't turn. He can't get away. He was stuck. He was dead in the water.
Was that something you specifically worked on for this fight to try to trap his arm like that? It was very impressive to watch, and especially to see how long you were able to keep it for. And also on his part, the fact that he didn't tap, because I feel like I would have tapped like 2 seconds into that.
I probably would have tapped. My shoulders are not flexible. I probably would have tapped there. I mean, so that position was not something worked on, but the takedown was something worked on. Like I love to clinch up with people and take people down with different trips and throws. And so the throw I hit him with, the trip I hit him with was something we worked on a lot. A lot of people missed it too, but I hit the body lock, and like once it was like confirmed he was going down, I kind of jumped up and tried to spike my shoulder in his face a little bit. Most people didn't pick up on that, but that's something we've been working on.
So that was your 15th win as a UFC lightweight, and I know that like it's kind of common for you to win. I mean, you've done this long enough, but your first win in almost 3 years. What does it feel like on the Monday to get that feeling back after the losing streak? Like, do you feel like you appreciate this feeling a little more now?
I definitely appreciate it a little bit more now. I mean, it's been so long. I was super emotional. Like, so we had, Randy Costa has been talking about it a lot. But we had one of our really good friends, Devin Carrier, die, a couple years ago. And he was like one of our main training partners. Like he was one of our guys. He would have been on that card with us if he was still around. Like he's just like super hardworking kid. So there was a lot of stuff going on. And like, just because it was in the forefront of everything we were doing. Like I was like ready to walk out. And I'm like on the verge of like tears, like waiting to walk out because it had been so long. And we are fighting back in Boston. And I'm thinking about Devin. It's just like, it was tough. It was like, and then I win the fight and the fight goes perfect. And I'm like on the verge of crying the entire time. It's just like, it was just a really tough emotionally night.
Yeah, I love that Randy continues to hold up the photo of Devin when he weighs in and after the fact. I think it's an amazing thing. You noted in the post-fight interview that you kind of like, you rag on those guys who cry in the post-fight interview, and you don't want to be one of those guys. What's wrong with crying? I think it's great.
Well, because I think that too many guys, like, it's way too often. Guys like, I just trained so hard for this. No one understands. You know what I mean? And it's just, I think it happens way. Like, I understand, but it happens all the time. Sometimes. I don't know.
But maybe now you understand. You understand why?
I do understand. Yeah, no, I do. But yeah, I still think it's a bad look. I'm mad at myself for crying a little bit, but I get it. I can't. I guess I'm a hypocrite.
Wait, so was that the first time in your entire career that you ever cried after a fight?
I think my wife's seen me cry like twice ever. I think when my dog died and when my son was born sick. I think that's about it.
That's it.
And then third time when Burt Watson came to my wedding. When Burt Watson came to my wedding, I cried a little bit, but that was it.
Wait a second. Burt Watson came to your wedding and that led you to cry? Yeah. Why?
Because it was so unexpected. Like, I wasn't like, I don't get emotional about things usually. But then, they're doing like the intros, they're calling us in, Burt's on the microphone and like, I knew all my coaches, they set it up and I don't know, it's just unexpected. But it had me crying my eyes out.
Wait, did he do that whole thing like it's time to roll and all that and you didn't expect it? Is that what happened? When you walked out?
Exactly. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this on camera anywhere?
Yeah, we have it somewhere.
Did you ever share it?
I don't know if we shared it. I don't think we shared it. We have it though. I have it.
Okay, and you had no idea he was coming.
I had no idea. Like they sent someone to the airport. I think they sent Jimmy Quinlan to the airport, picked him up, brought him to the wedding. I had no idea.
Wow,
it was awesome. It's pretty cool.
So I have to ask you about the post fight stuff. So Dana White said that you guys had a deal that you would retire with a victory. Is this accurate? Did you have this deal and did you break the deal?
Inaccurate.
Okay.
I'm a man of my word. I don't change anything. Dana said basically the gist is that I told Dana I wanted to fight. He said, we care about you. We don't want you to get hurt. Mays, my boxing coach, does not want you to fight, and which is true. Mays does not want me to fight. And then I kept pushing. And I said, look, I'm going to do all these different things. If I do these things, are you okay with me fighting? They came up with like this big, extensive list of things they wanted me to do, and I did every single thing. So they're like, okay, we'll let you fight. So when I texted Dana, I told Dana, look, give me one more shot. If the fight does not go well, I promise you'll never hear from me about fighting again. And that's what I was. And he said, deal. But to me, but I said, hey, if the fight doesn't go well, I'm 100% done. And he said, deal. So that was the gist of it. But I understand. He in his mind is like, oh, we're gonna do one more for Lauzon's gonna do one more in Boston. Like, there's no better way to end this. I understand. Like, they're looking out for me. I definitely understand. But I'm not 100% closing the door. Is all I'm saying. Usually, it's like when you have a fight, it's like there's location, opponent, and date. And generally, you have to get two. If you get two of them, you're in a good shape. You take the fight. If I'm going to fight again, it'll have to be all three. It'll have to be perfect. I'll have to really like the opponent. I'll have to really like the location. I'll have to really like the date. But we'll see. Maybe I'm done. I'm okay. I mean, I don't think I can end it better than we just did. So if that's the end, then that's the end, and that's cool, and that's great. If, I'm just not going to commit to it just yet.
Okay, so let's say your career was a football field, and you're going from this side to this side, and this side is the end of the career. This end zone is the end. Where are you right now on that field?
I'm in the red zone.
Okay.
I mean, I'm definitely. I don't think that I don't think I'm gonna have 6 more fights. But maybe I'll have 1 or 2. Maybe not. Like I'm not. My gym does well. My gym's in Easton, Massachusetts. Like and all of the best guys around New England, they all come to me. Like we have guys drive like from hours away, 2-3 hours away, come and train with us every Saturday morning. Rob Font, Calvin Cater, Devin Powell. We get people who drive from ever. Come all over the place, and they train us. So my gym's doing well. My gym's doing really, really well. So I didn't need to fight. It's not like it's a money thing. Like I'm super competitive. I was super unhappy. One of the things you always talk about is like you're only as good as your last fight. Like I was super unhappy with my last fight. I'm very happy with my last fight now. So maybe I'm okay with being done. But I'm just not gonna. I hate when people are like, oh, I'm retired, and then they come back 6 months, 8 months, a year later. So I'm just not gonna. I don't want to go and say I'm retired. But I'm likely not fighting again. But we'll see. I'm not ready to 100% be retired just yet.
Did you talk to Dana after the fight? Did he say, yo, where was my retirement announcement?
I texted him and just, I always text Dana after every fight. I always just, thank you for the opportunity. He's like, I was expecting a retirement speech, and I hadn't heard about his comments yet.
Okay.
So I told him, you never make a decision when you're emotional. Right. I said I was being so emotional, not making any big decisions. Because until the fight happened, I really didn't know what I was going to do. Like, I didn't know if I was going to, say after the fight that I was done or whatever. Like, I kind of stayed the course on, not, deciding either way. But then I was like, nearly crying my eyes out. So I'm like, I'm definitely not saying anything now. Like, I want to talk about Devin in the post-fight interview, and I just didn't because I just knew I would have been waterworks right away. So we didn't get into it, but I'm sure we'll talk about it again. If I want to fight again, I'm sure I'll have to deal with Dana. So we'll see.
Yeah, they might not just ever offer you a fight again. They're just going to freeze you out now.
They might, but it's okay because I'll harass them, and then I'll start photoshopping stuff and post on Instagram, and I'll just talk shit. Like, it's okay, I'm all right. I know they care about me. I care about them. Like, I have a great relationship with everyone at the UFC. Like, if I want to fight again, it's not going to be like an overnight decision. We'll see.
Is it awkward? Like you mentioned, your longtime boxing coach Steve Mays doesn't want you to fight. Are there other members of your team who say the same? And is it hard to get them on board when they're saying openly, "We don't want you to keep doing this"?
No, I mean, it's their big thing was that, if I'm not going to be prepared to fight, then they don't want to see me get hurt, which, and I understand, I'm up for that. I don't want to end up in the ER. I don't want to go to the hospital. Like, I don't like that. Like, I've had a whole bunch of fight of the nights. I'm not looking for those fights. I'm not trying to end up in the hospital. I want every fight to be like Friday was, go out there, don't get punched, take a guy down, beat him up, get the stoppage, like, minute and a half. I can do that all the time. And if I could guarantee them that would happen every time, they'd be on board with me fighting anytime I wanted. But just I have had some fights that were kind of wars, but my coaches were all on the same page. Instead, if I did certain things, and then they were on board with me fighting again, and I did all those things, so they were all okay with it. Steve Mays has never been so happy to be wrong. They showed a clip of him after the fight where so like the ref stops it and like he just like puts his face down in his shirt, like he's like, oh, he's gonna want it again. I think he wanted me to have like a tougher fight and then win in the end. But when I go out there and I blow this guy out, then now it's like, oh, he's gonna want to do it again, but I'm not there yet either.
What does your wife say?
She is super supportive. Whatever I want to do, she knows. She knows. She sees me training hard. She sees me doing everything I can to prepare. She's on board. She doesn't want to see any more. Any fights like 2 fights ago. right? Face is all beat up and everything like that. But she's like so supportive. She's so good. When my second son when she got pregnant with my second son Jake, she didn't tell me till after the fight. She knew like a week and a half before, and she didn't tell me because she didn't want to distract me. She's just like, she's a super wife. She's awesome.
How is your older son doing? Your oldest?
Joey's doing great. He'll be 6 in January. He's still getting hearing aids. He hears, but his hearing is not great from. So he had cancer. They gave him chemotherapy. All the cancer's gone, but it damages hearing a little bit. So he has like some moderate hearing loss, which is kind of a big deal. But he does great. He's a trooper. He's awesome.
Does he go to your fights?
He went to the Grutzemacher fight 2 fights ago in Brooklyn.
Okay.
But he didn't really understand. Like even like this fight, we watched it like the next day, and he was kind of paying attention, but he's like he doesn't quite get it. When he gets older, I think he will. He goes to, we started like a 3 to 5 year old class that I teach for all of our kids. So we call it Tiny Ninjas, and they're doing jiu-jitsu. So he understands like a lot of the moves and things like that now. So he was like, "Oh, you did this and you did this." Like he requested, and I failed. I didn't do my job, but he requested a takedown and a triangle choke for the fight, which I failed.
I mean, I hope at some point he realizes how good your performance was. I just wanted to ask you about something, because you're so smart when it comes to this stuff. I mentioned the Randy Costa submission. As an expert, you're the expert. Do you have a problem with that? Like, should that not have counted, him holding onto the cage with his toes like that?
Charles Rosa, you're saying?
Charles Rosa. Why did I say Randy Costa? Yeah, Charles Rosa. Excuse me.
I think it's okay. I think that the rule is that it's not that you can't put your fingers through or your toes through. It's that you cannot grab onto the cage. So I think in that regard, I think it's okay. I also don't think that Charles is 100% in control. It's basically a ring out in wrestling. If Manny kind of leaned forward a little bit, push the toes through. I don't think that Rosa was trying to put his toes through to get leverage. I think, and the referee didn't see it, so I don't think it matters. I think regardless of what happened, referee didn't see it. It doesn't matter. Okay.
Good insight there. By the way, I have a tweet here from Callum Earl, who says, you're doing great, but he just wrote to us, Joe needs a new chair. So like you got all these what's going on with this chair?
This is the chair in my gym. I'm at my gym. This is like the kids. They have like, see, there's like, we got a whiteboard on the wall. You can't see what they've read on the walls. They just destroy everything up here. So
yeah, but I mean the chair is like really beat up. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it is. I have a great chair at my house, but
it looks comfortable. But I mean,
it's pretty comfy.
We're on ESPN here, Joe. Like we expect a little.
You can't see that it's all messed up there, but it's.
Yeah, you should have went on the other side. That's right.
Yeah. All right. I don't care.
It adds character.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that win, man. It was great to see you. And by the way, just want to let you know, I liked seeing the emotion. All right. I think it's great to see a little emotion. So don't beat yourself up too bad about that. Enjoy. I'm just saying, I like a good crying session here and there. I mean, I'm kind of hated for that these days, but hey, that's just me. Congrats, enjoy it, and if this is the end, thank you for everything. But I have a feeling you're leaving the door open, which, by the way, I respect as well. A lot of fighters, they retire and then they come back, and it's all very confusing. No one's forcing you to say the R word.
I just don't want to do that. I don't want to, have something pop up in 6 months or a year and be like, have to come out and whatever. So I'm just leave the door open. We'll see what happens. If it'd have to be everything will have to line up for me to do it again, but we'll see.
All right. Thanks for doing this, Joe. All the best to you. Congrats.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It's Ariel Helwani. I just came here to thank you for watching our ESPN YouTube channel. It's the best. You know what else is the best? The ESPN app. You can get highlights, analysis, all that stuff and more. And if you want premium content and live streaming sports, there's only one place for all of that. It's ESPN Plus.